Hi there, welcome to this week's City View. A lot to talk about. It's a great time to be here in the great city of Quincy, and we're finally enjoying some good weather. We'll get right into it. This week we've had the college, well, last week was a college graduation, but this week we have the two high schools. Monday night of this past week, Quincy High School graduated with about 380 kids, and Tuesday night, North Quincy High School had about 305 kids. I've always said it, I say it publicly a number of times. As mayor, chair of the school committee, my favorite night of the year is graduation night at Veterans Memorial Stadium. It's really when it all comes together, all the hard work that goes into building our Quincy Public Schools education system. Some of these kids are with us from pre-K right through elementary, middle school, and of course graduating our high schools. So there's so many folks that are involved in the process of educating our children, and I want to take a moment and express my gratitude to them. First of all, the superintendent, Deputy Superintendent Cristofaro, Deputy Superintendent Mulvey, the superintendent leadership team, our principals, our teachers, our staff, in every building. Their care and concern and goal every day is all about the children that they serve. So it takes everybody, principals, teachers, guidance counselors, coaches, crossing guards, bus drivers, custodians, maintenance folks, all our staff in Quincy Public Schools, some 1,200 of them, come together to make it possible for you, our youngsters, to succeed. So congratulations to all our graduates. It was very impressive sitting there and listening to the speeches. I think we have some footage.
Past. It foreshadows the promise that our future holds. No matter what you want to do or what you want to become, I, your Commander-in-Chief, wants you to do your absolute best in whatever you do. Because I can assure you one thing. That's right, our future is so bright that I have to put my shades on. Today is our day. In fact, today is the best day in the world, and tomorrow will be even better. We are entering the best times of our lives. This is not a final goodbye, but this is the first of many hellos.
It's a pleasure to congratulate you on behalf of the City of Quincy. We're so proud of you. Each of you are a creation by God. Each of you have been given gifts and talents. Use those talents, use them wisely. You've had a great experience. Many of you have been with us from pre-K. And I want to take a moment to thank all of those folks, principals, teachers, staff members, coaches, guidance counselors, nurses, crossing guards, bus drivers, all of those folks that come together to make this night possible for you. We have an outstanding school system, and you are the result, and you are the proven success of what they do each and every day.
When we entered high school however long ago, we were anxious about what was to come. And when the last day came, a majority was relieved. We are all different people from when we started, and today is a recognition of that fact. Today is a goodbye to our old selves. Today is a ceremonious goodbye to our school.
Impressive to listen to these young people, how prepared they are. Many of them are going on to four-year colleges. Some are going into our military, and we thank them for their commitment to our nation. And some are going directly into the workplace, and we wish them all well. We congratulate their families and thank them for their contributions made along the way to our schools. It's not just about academics, so that's the primary, but there's also great arts, music, athletics that they participate in, and certainly made us proud in every way possible. So again, my congratulations to all, and thank you to everyone involved in our public school system that make it all possible. So I'd like to switch over. We started with the graduation. You may have read a little bit about Quincy College and the challenges that Quincy College has right now. First and foremost, I'd like to remind everybody that Quincy College is open, that it's fully accredited with the exception of one program, and that is the nursing program that ran into a bit of a challenge over the last couple of years. And that challenge had not been dealt with in an efficient way. Therefore, the Board of Registration of Nursing pulled that program from Quincy College to be taught. So the Board of Governors, which its chair right now is Christopher Bell, and the 13-member board have asked me to take over operations, to be the interim CEO, if you will, to get us stabilized, work to get the program back, as well as deal with some of the issues we have at the college. So, I want people to understand that Quincy College is a great institution. I went there in the 80s. A lot of people took courses there, graduated there, moved on to four-year colleges. It's a great institution in our city. It's an important part of who we are. It's funny because one of the faculty members made a comment, a politician get involved in the college. It was actually the politicians that created the college some 60 years ago. The city fathers put this together, and it has been very successful in so many ways. I am not in it to be the long-term president, and I am not accepting any compensation for doing this work because I know that has come up in discussions. Having said that, I thank the Board of Governors. I thank the faculty. I have met with both Unit D and Unit E of the faculty and took a lot of questions. Told everyone we're going to be direct, we're going to be transparent in everything we do. We have obviously a challenge with the budget that we're dealing with right now, and we have eliminated some positions. We've created some efficiencies. We are looking at dealing with our leases and the extra space that we don't need, that we can shed. We're doing everything we can to make us a little bit more lean over the next 2 years as we deal with the challenges of the loss of the nursing program. Having said that, I've been in touch with Governor Baker, Lieutenant Governor Polito, Attorney General Maura Healey, the head of NEAS, Dr. Barbara Brittingham. We've been in to see the Board of Registration of Nursing with Department of Public Health, and we have continued meetings with Department of Higher Ed and continued communication. We want to make it perfectly clear from day one that this is not Mount Ida. Many folks have read about Mount Ida, what happened to that college over in Newton, and it was in very bad shape financially, and they closed their doors. Quincy College is not in bad shape financially. There's one program, a very important program, I'll admit, that got into a bit of trouble with the state because they weren't keeping up with certain requirements and standards that the state had established. In fact, I sent a letter to the former president last August with my concerns about the lack of urgency in dealing with this issue at hand, dealing with this program. So we're fully committed. We have 2 consultants on board. They are working now to reestablish the program. It's going to take about a year. We have to rebuild the program from scratch. We have to develop the curriculum and work with the state at every step of the levels of government and those folks that are involved in any way with Department of Higher Ed, with secondary education. We're working very hard with and everybody's been very cooperative. Everybody wants us as a college to succeed. So we're working hard at it. Lisa McBurney is my chief of staff here on the city side. She's been assigned over there along with Joe Arangio and others in doing the work necessary to stabilize the situation at hand. I'll be attending budget meetings over the next several days with internal folks and the Board of Governors, and then go before the Board of Governors later this month for a final budget for the coming year. We do expect to tap a little bit of the reserve to make the budget work because I did not want to get into any extensive layoffs by any means, and I understand fully how important these positions are and the people that serve in these jobs at that college and the great work they've been doing. They should not be necessarily adversely affected or harmed in any way because of what occurred here. So we'll continue to work very hard on it. We'll certainly keep you updated on the situation. I want to thank, again, everybody that's worked so hard with us. I put together a 5-member advisory committee to me directly. That includes Catherine Craven. She's a new member of the Board of Governors. She is the CFO of Babson College. She's been part of the UMass higher ed system, a brilliant woman that knows higher ed. She's agreed to serve, in addition to being on the board, to serve in this group that will advise me going forward. In addition, Mary Jo Brogner, who also went on the Board of Governors. She's the director of nursing at Beth Israel Hospital, and her background certainly is going to be helpful in us rebuilding the nursing program. She brings with her a tremendous resume as well. In addition, I've asked Pam Edinger, she's the president of Bunker Hill Community College, to serve on this group advising. I view Bunker Hill not as competition necessarily, but we're in that same community college world where I know her input and her background will be very helpful in my decision making and my recommendations sent to the Board of Governors. We also have Carmen Mariano. Carmen was an assistant superintendent of schools in Quincy, but he was also vice president of academic affairs, I think, with the Plymouth campus for a number of years. Carmen has a tremendous background, loves the city, and certainly has a great affinity for the college, so he'll be assisting us as well going forward. So I appreciate those folks that are committed to doing that for me, for the good of the college. Again, these people are not getting any compensation. The Board of Governors does not get any compensation for the work they do. So I'm grateful for all the efforts that are being made. Really, there's been a feeling of people coming together to make this right. And I'm grateful for the cooperation that we've had on that. So stay tuned. We'll keep you informed. You'll be hearing more. But Quincy College is alive and well. And if you're thinking about, Quincy, certainly about going on to college, or you want to pick up some courses or the certificate programs, check in with the college. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity for people. And they come from all over the region. We also have 350 foreign students at Quincy College. So we get international students from all over the world part of the program here. So about 5,000 students overall. It's a great college, great institution, and I'm certainly looking forward to getting in a better position, passing the baton off to a new president, and getting back to business here at City Hall. We talk about a lot of this program. There's a lot happening in our city. Day in, day out, there's a lot happening. Infrastructure, public building work, schools, pipes and seawalls and roads, and et cetera. So what was showing is something that's important, and that is tree planting. Quincy is a dense city, even though we've got 2,400 acres of the Blue Hills within our confines. We've got some great parks and public places. Street trees are important. They're important not only aesthetically for a street, but they're also the lungs of a city. Trees, breathe in all the bad stuff and breathe out the oxygen that we enjoy as part of the human family. So not to get too much of a tree hugger, but I appreciate the value of trees in our community, and we're going to spend the next couple of years really rebuilding our urban forest. We've lost a lot of our inventory over the years, and it's tough in an urban environment on the streets for a tree to truly survive. You think about, one is the general air pollution. Two is when you look at the restricted planting space they have. Therefore, the compaction's tough, so if the air and water is not getting to the root system, it has a hard time to survive. In addition, we use road salt in the winter. That has an adverse effect on trees. So, you go through some of the streets with the wires, or the electric company lops off on the crowns of the trees, so they're dealing with that issue as well. So we're trying to be smarter about where they're planted and the size and variety that we're planting, so they have a better shot at surviving in the urban environment. But make no mistake about it, the urban forest is important. They're the lungs of a community, and the city has a long history of great tree-lined streets, and would like to get some of those streets back to those conditions. And I think it was a Native American that once said, you don't plant trees for your children or your children's children, but your children's children's children that are planted for. They do take time to mature and grow, and that's a gift to the next generation. So we have a contractor on hand, and certainly if you are in an area where you have one of those loom borders, a grass strip along your street, and if there's nothing that would stop us from putting one in, we'd certainly encourage you to call the Park Department at 617-376-1251. Give them a call. You'll get on a list. If you don't make it this round, we keep a log continually for those folks that are interested in trees. There are folks that don't like trees, and I understand that, but trees are important to a community and to the value of the community. And when I say not only environmentally value, but in value to property values, they do have a direct impact on the value of real estate. So they're important really all across the board. So, again, there's streets that are naturally tree-lined today that we'll continue to try to maintain. And there are streets that used to be that we're going to try to increase the tree inventory to kind of bring that feel back. Having said that, when the city had tree-lined streets, and you could go on a number of streets that was, you drive under really an archway of foliage. That was long before all the wires started coming through the city. I mean, you originally had the power, and then the phone, then the cable, the fire, on and on. The wires are pretty amazing out there. So there are cases where we really can't plant the trees under the wires for obvious reasons. But there are plenty of planting locations in the city that we're going to meet. Just walking in Mount Wilson Cemetery this past week, and we've lost a lot of the sugar maple population in the cemetery over the years. So hopefully this fall and next spring we'll plant 100 new trees right inside Mount Wilson Cemetery and bring that garden cemetery feel back to what it was intended to be originally. So a lot of work ahead, but we're certainly moving in the right direction. And again, I encourage you, if you're interested in have a tree planted on the plot in front of your house, call the park department. If there has been a tree planted in front of your house or nearby, you could help us by giving a little bit of water once in a while in the coming summer months. In the heat of the summer, these new trees, their roots aren't established quite yet, so we need your help in throwing them a little bit of water here and there. We'd deeply appreciate that. So any issue, by the way, at any time, whether it's potholes, street repair, anything you might see that relates to local government, feel free to call my office, 617-376-1990. And certainly our staff would be happy to help you in any way. And I'd be happy to talk with you if need be about any issue as well. So I'm proud of the work that we do and try to stay in touch and communicate with the public. Some of you may have read recently that we are changing our trash contractor. And that's a welcome change, believe me. I've heard from you loud and clear over the last year, and certainly my staff has and Public Works has, about the numerous complaints related to Sunrise Scavenger, and their pickup performance, or lack thereof, picking up late, missing streets, missing pickups. It's been a major issue, I understand, and that's why we're making the change. In July 1st, we'll be going to Capital Waste Management. They had experience here in the city before, and we're looking forward to them returning to the streets of the city by July 1. So again, if you have any questions on the trash issue, feel free to give us a call. But I think it's the right move. So we're going to pay a little bit more money in the contract, but I think it'll be well worth it. And I've always said one of the most fundamental services we deliver to you, the residents of the city, is trash pickup. And I don't want to mess that up. We're going to get that back in shape. And I appreciate the work of Commissioner Grazioso and his team, along with the city solicitor, in getting this right with a new contract coming forward. So pay attention to that. And if you have any issues, there might be, obviously in the transition period, there may be a few issues, but feel free again to reach out. I encourage you to look at the website of Public Works. Pay attention to the recycling side of things. Recycling, you may have read some stories or heard on the news. The global recycling issue has changed dramatically. The market is not there right now. We're actually paying more. We used to get actually money back for recycling. That's not happening anymore. Part of the reason for that is the contamination issue. So we went to single stream, but we need you please to follow the guidelines in that. We can't be sending all kinds of dirty containers and things in the recycling. That has an effect on the single stream. It contaminates a lot of the product that's in there. So I'd ask you to please pay attention to what you can put in recycling. Stick to that. If you have any questions, call our Public Works DPW line with John Sullivan, and we'll put that up on the screen, and they can answer any questions you may have. We encourage you to certainly recycle, but if you could follow the guidelines on that, that would be greatly appreciated. I have been driving around the city and noting a number of issues and potholes and infrastructure and issues that just need to be dealt with out there. Don't assume we know about it if you see something on your street. Please call in and call this office. We have a constituent service office. Don't drive by a pothole for a week and why haven't they filled it? Well, if you're on a side street that not many people travel, we may not know about it. So I'd ask you, please, if you see something like that, if you see a tree branch down or a tree that has some issues, feel free to call on that. Whatever the case may be, reach out and give us an opportunity to resolve the issue for you. That's what you pay us for, and that's what we're supposed to be doing. So don't be shy. There are some folks here that are not shy. We hear from on a regular basis. But please don't be shy. Give us a holler at any time. Now, this coming weekend is also a big weekend for our city. In some ways, it's been called the unofficial start of summer. And I know some of you that see this may have already, the parade may have already gone by, but I'm talking about the Flag Day celebration that we have in this great city that was started back in 1952 by my late father, Richard J. Koch, who had started the Koch Club recreational program back in 1948. And out of that, he began the parade in its modest day was down in Norfolk Downs. At Kavanaugh Field, the kids were handed a flag. They walked up Billings Road, up through the Norfolk Downs and back to Kavanaugh Field, and then they got a hoodsie at the end of the parade. So it was a big deal for kids then. My father expanded it to Quincy Center in 1960, and the parade went through Quincy Center, and then it ended at the Veterans Memorial Stadium. And we've had some giants from the city that have been grand marshals and been part of the parade. I can remember as a kid, Captain Dick Stratton, a POW in Vietnam, one of the longest serving POWs, was the guest grand marshal and speaker at the stadium. And you could hear a pin drop in that stadium when he was making his remarks. It certainly left a mark on me. I remember George Patton, the general, his son, the famous World War II general, had a son who became a 4-star general in the Army, and he was Grand Marshal one year, and he brought with him all kinds of trucks and tanks, and the kids had a blast climbing all over them at the stadium following the event. And I know during the Vietnam era, my father took a lot of grief from folks that felt the Flag Day Parade should stop. There was folks that didn't feel that patriotism because they felt we shouldn't have been at war in Vietnam. But my dad never succumbed to that. He was a strong believer in the American spirit and what this country's all about, and he firmly believed that that flag stood for something. And as long as Dick Stratton and Ellen Brudnow and all those other POWs were over there, that flag was going to fly, and he continued to do so. In fact, one of his last interviews before he passed away with Henry Bosworth was, as long as I'm around, that Flag Day parade will go down Hancock Street. Well, I'm glad to say that we've continued that tradition, because I wouldn't be able to live with myself with that guilt hanging over me. But it has happened because we've had great support from a number of folks. Obviously, Park and Recreation carry the day as far as the details. We have a great committee that meets before work every week, Thursday mornings at 7:30, that come together and work so hard. We've had a lot of great support by the business community. I want to give a special shout out to Dan Koch, who sponsors the fireworks at the end of the parade up at Pageant Field. Beautiful show. It's a great event. Obviously, we've had great support from Eddie Cohen, the Cohen Funeral Home, the Quincy Credit Union, the Colonial Federal Bank, Eastern Bank, a number of corporate citizens that have stepped up and helped to donate towards the effort. We've got 10 bands and a number of specialty units, and of course 2,000 kids carrying the flag down Hancock Street. And I remember my dad saying at the microphone, that flag that you carry has the same meaning, it's the same symbol as the flag that's flying over the Capitol. And I would encourage and hope people to take more pride in that flag, because it's not only about the veteran, though it's the veteran that has defended that flag, but it's really about every generation that has built this nation, and who we are today is represented in that flag. And all our aspirations, who we want to be, is represented in that flag. So that flag is the symbol that unites us. I know there's been a lot of talk and a lot of pride in separate cultures, and that's great, but at the end of the day, we should come together, whatever our religious background, whatever our sexual orientation is, whatever our heritage is, whatever country you may have come from, we come together as one America with that great American spirit. So this weekend at the Flag Day Parade, we're honoring 2 special people. Each year we have a Grand Marshal, and each year we have a Richard J. Koch Youth Service Award winner. And this year's Grand Marshal is Tom Galvin. Now, Tom is undergoing some treatment and is really in the battle of his life. Things have gotten tough the last couple of weeks, so certainly our prayers and thoughts are out to Tom Galvin and his family. But Tom's been like an institution in the city for many years. There's a lot of people that love Quincy, and nobody loves Quincy more than Tom Galvin. I'd say that with certainty. And the work he's done as a historian, you see the Quincy Sun every week, the postcards he does, the yesteryears, which is a great piece each week. But in addition to that, he's provided scholarships at our high schools, Quincy History Scholarship Awards. He has given cemetery tours on a regular basis. He has done slide presentations for neighborhood groups and organizations about the history of our city, all without any compensation, without any fanfare. He just wants to really preserve and pass on that great history that we have here in this great city. So congratulations to Tom Galvin and his family, and look forward to seeing you Saturday at the Flag Day. Another gentleman that we're honoring is Peter Thompson. Peter's a native of Quincy Point, now lives in Braintree, but really his heart never left Quincy. Peter and his wife lost a child a number of years ago to substance abuse. And Peter, for a number of years, without fanfare, very quietly, has been funding programs in the Quincy Public Schools to help our kids stay away from this scourge. And I think at this point we're over $100,000 of Peter Thompson and his family donated to Quincy Public Schools. You probably never heard of it because that's the way he is. In fact, he's embarrassed to be in the parade, he told me, but I told him that he deserves it, number one. Number two is it's also an opportunity to continue to talk about this issue that we face. So we congratulate Peter Thompson and thank him for his commitment to youth of our city in receiving the Richard J. Koch Award. So two great guys, and we look forward to honoring them on Saturday night. So with that, Flag Day's here, start of the summer. We'll be in touch during the summer months on issues, but certainly hope you get an opportunity to get away with your loved ones to one of those great spots during the summer months. Wish you a safe and happy summer, and don't forget, any questions, any issues, feel free to reach out to this office, and we'll gladly help out. Thanks so much for tuning in.